on this one.
Two of the recently COVID-affected sides meet on Friday at 5:30 p.m. on Sky. Will Salford bounce back from the Challenge Cup final, or will Wigan consolidate their top four place? I'm going to go with a tough battle between these sides. That's only going to come down to one score, maybe. Salford will want to put in a good showing, and they are competitive, but I'm going to back my Wigan side to win by 6 in this one and push for that top four ceiling place.
I think Salford will be a bit down in the dumps, so I think it's going to be Wigan by 12.
Okie dokes. Then finally on Friday, 7:45 p.m. kickoff, it's St Helens versus triumphant Leeds Rhinos, who may have a different kind of hangover from the Challenge Cup final than the Salford side. Interestingly, for both these sides, they go again on Monday to St Helens and Leeds, as well as Salford. So interesting to sort of see how they play it with their squad selections. But I've got to go Saints.
I think Saints by probably by 10, but I think Leeds will be buoyant. I think this could be the game to watch because I think both sides will be going for this. I think it'll subject to selection, but I think if you look at the fixtures they've got on the Monday, I think both sides are going to throw everything at this one and then look at the Monday as where they rotate.
Another chance to get the R-League subscriptions dusted off for Wakefield and Hull KR fans. Sunday at 2 o'clock. They play each other. It's the bottom two sides. If Wakefield want to avoid finishing bottom of the table, they absolutely have to win this one. I don't know. It's coin toss. Do you know what? Let's throw caution to the wind. Let's say Wakefield are going to win their first game since resumption.
I'm obviously going KR by 12.
I think that's maybe where I'm going to slip up this week on these. Monday 5:15 p.m. for those watching on our league. Warrington fans will see your side travel to the south of France to play the Catalans. Obviously, we'll all know just from now that Warrington aren't playing on the Thursday-Friday fixtures, so it's kind of suitable that they're the one that makes this trip over then on Monday. This could be a cracker. It's a shame that we're not all going to get to see this one. I think this could be a cracker. It's a coin toss in a different sort of way. Winners in the box seat for the playoffs. Losers looking over their shoulder. I'll let you go first on this one.
I'm going to say Catalan, I think, because they will have fans, so it'll be the Catalan and Catalan effect will kick in. So I think I'm going to go Catalan for this.
Wire will have pretty much had 2 weeks without a game. In fact, 2.5 weeks without a game.
Yeah.
And I think that's come at a nice time for them. I'm going to go Warrington. I don't know by how many. Warrington by 1 score. Let's say 6. Monday, 5:30
Still
PM.
more games on Monday. Yeah.
Yeah, Sky are back for Salford versus St Helens. A sort of rerun of last year's Grand Final in the sides that are playing, but maybe not in the outcome. Like you suggested, Tim, there's probably going to be some changes for these ones. I think St Helens have maybe just got a bit more cohesion in whatever they bring in. Although Salford's reserves have played a couple of games, haven't they? Where Saints haven't really had that chance.
The difference is with Salford's reserves, they're not that. There's not much of a leap between them and the rest of them. They're sort of a fairly central pack. Whereas Saints, it is more. They've got quite good strength, but once you get below that into that third layer, they are a little bit below them. So it could give them a chance potentially. But I think there's also going to be some fatigue and injuries because they will have played. This will be the 4th game in just under 2 weeks, won't it?
Yeah, for Salford, yeah.
Salford, yeah. So I think Saints, just by being that little bit relatively fresh, and the amount that Wembley will have taken out of them mentally as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Saints as well, but not my recent pattern of Saints by 20. I'll just go by Saints by 10. Then the final game we've got to talk about, and just so everyone knows, we're going to watch these games next week and then record the episode on Tuesday, so you can get your fan views in for us to talk about on all of these games. But Monday 7:45 p.m. Sky, Leeds versus Castleford. Normally this would be a game that's hotly anticipated, but after the short turnaround, I'm not so sure. I'm going to give Cass a slight edge in this one. I think Leeds might... Oh, wait. No. Leeds are going to have to win this, aren't they?
Yes.
Leeds are going to play the kids against Saints, and then they're going to come out all firing in this one. They're going to win it. I'm going to go Leeds by 10.
I think Leeds, because, again, I think Castleford are on the way to Skegness. So, I think, Leeds by 20.
Okay, then it's the big one. Sunday morning, 8:30am UK time. The minor Premier Panthers versus the second place Melbourne Storm in the NRL Grand Final. We'll give a quick note first to that follows the Broncos versus the Roosters at 5:05am UK time on Sky Sports. The NRL Women's Grand Final. Broncos...
Or the Ali Brigginshaw show, as it will henceforth be known.
Yeah.
I think she
getting the Dally M from the women's competition as well, so the star player in that competition. Roosters,
and I think it's a real shame for the Roosters that Charlotte Caslick got injured, because I think the two of them going up against each other would be quite a sight that we'd want to see at this grand final. So I think it will be the Broncos. We'll do this one quite comfortably.
It is the two best sides that we've had in that competition. The short competition that it is, that's certainly fair to say, but the Broncos are showing the men what they've not done this year by having the talent and the execution.
I think the only shame for the NRL women's for me has been it's been the kick-off times, because they've always been generally earlier, but also it's that Charlotte Booth didn't get a spot. I know she was gunning for one to try and get into one of the seams, but I think it would have been great
Brisbane
if
she was aiming at, wasn't it, really? Because her place was in the Queensland feeder system.
And I think it's partly also the way they did the point system. I think they were counting her as a full international, which was the highest tariff. So I think she was sort of undone by that.
Right, it is a shame, but I think the Broncos will win that one. But the big one following that is the Panthers versus the Storm. I mean, the women's finals are big competition, but they've played 3 rounds of the girls. These blokes have played 23 weeks now, and it all comes down to this. In fact, Cameron Smith's been playing 23,000 years, or whatever it's been, and it all comes down to this. Can he referee his side to one more grand final victory, or will the young upstarts of the Panthers take the title that they look fairly destined to on the season's performance?
This is one where it's my heart versus my head. My head says that you just can't bet against the Storm in this. The muscle memory, the Bellamy factor, the fact that the emotion with Cameron Smith, that they'll use that to their advantage, and again that the speed they came out in the semi-final, they could just do that again to Penrith. However, there's part of me that wants a happy Nat Sinclair. I want a happy Panther, and I just want to see those chocolate soldiers do it. So I unfortunately think the Storm will have too much for them, but I would love the Panthers to do it.
I mean, they've only played once this year. That was way back in round 6, so I think that was before we even had crowds, I think, in the NRL.
It was one of the earlier ones.
Yeah, the Panthers won that one, but I don't think we carry much weight from that into this. Like you say, there's Smith and the likes of Munster, Addo-Carr, big game Bromwich, big game players who've played a lot of top level match action that's in that Storm side, plus a few guys who haven't got that experience but will certainly be a force to be reckoned with on that stage. Tinu Fa'asuamaleaui off the bench. Jerome Hughes is coming into his own, isn't he? He seems like a fully rounded leader in that side now as well. And of course, Pappenhausen out the back. But if the Panthers can control things at the end of their sets and not give up the long-range tries that the Storm have fed on in any of their sort of decent wins this year, I feel the Panthers have to be in the box seat. Jerome Luai's playing really well alongside Nathan Cleary at the moment. I think Tamau Kurosawa and Fisher Harris are as good a starting front row as there is in the competition. They've got Kickow back in the side, which will be a big boost as well. He's likely to be back in that starting lineup. I think the Panthers. I'm going to go the Panthers. It's not a head-heart dilemma really for me because I'm not fussed either way. I just want to be entertained. But the Panthers have been the best side. I think it's silly to bet against them. I'm going to go the Panthers to win. It won't be a blowout, I don't think. It'll be maybe 8 or 10. There'll be a try late on to kind of pad it out. But Panthers for me, and you're sort of torn.
Yeah, I want Panthers, but I fear the Storm.
Fair enough. Well, make sure you get all your fan views in on all those games on the Google Forms. Look out for the links on Twitter. Head to superleaguepod.com if you're not a Twitter user, and probably I'll put something on the Facebook page as well as a prompt for the NRL after the NRL Grand Final. But I'll have your ability to add all of the games that you'd seen to that point on your fan views. Anyway, right, that is predictions done. We're now going to move on to the wrap up. Tim, you've got a quiz for me this week, so I'm excited.
I have got a quiz for you. Yeah. Right, so time to get into the quiz. And so this week's quiz for you, Mark, is all about the Lance Todd Trophy. Of course. Why could it be? What else could it be?
I should have signed up for that, really, but if I didn't have time to write the quiz, I didn't have time to swap for the quiz.
That is very true. So, Richie Myler, of course, won this year's Lance Todd playing at fullback. Now, the question is, for question one, who was the last fullback to win the Lance Todd Trophy?
The last fullback to win the Lance Todd Trophy? Tony Gigo.
It was Tony Gigo in 2018. For bonus points, can you name either of the previous or prior to that?
So I think it would have been a Warrington fullback.
Yep.
I have a feeling when Hicks scored his hat-trick, he was playing at fullback, but if he wasn't, then it was Hodgson who was playing at fullback, and I think Hodgson won the Lance Todd. It was
Hodgson in 2012.
Yeah.
And prior to that, any guesses? This is just a...
prior to 2012, we're really digging in deep into the recess of memory there then. I'm not sure.
It was Paul Wellens.
Wow.
In 2008.
Yeah.
So, in terms of positions of winners of the Lance Todd Trophy, scrum half is the most popular, with 15 players having won it there. 13 fullbacks and 12 standoffs. So the question is, which position is the least popular? And I'll give you 3 points if you get it right, and 2 points or 1 point if you get the nearest others.
So I think the least popular position for winning the Lance Todd, I'm torn between two. I'm going to guess at wing.
No.
Or hooker was my second one that I was leaning on.
It would have been hooker.
Oh.
Only 3 players have won from playing at hooker. 2 of them in the modern era. So you've had, do you want to guess either of those 2?
Roby won it in 2007, did he?
No.
Oh,
it was,
right.
Darryl Clark and Michael Monaghan.
Well, Clark was going to be the other one I was going to give. I thought Roby won it in the year where he scored that really good try, but obviously he didn't. But Clark, it was going to be the other one because he won it last year, didn't he?
Yes, yeah. And prior to that, way back in times of your Tommy Harris.
I think that's what clouded my judgment on it, though, was that Clark had won it recently, and you know, Cunningham and Roby had played loads of finals in the noughts. So I just sort of thought there must have been some out there, whereas wingers, it's probably